day is done and the kids are in bed, so it's time for a brew with Lucy.
Breabach, how are you?
Hello. How's it going?
It's so nice to see you guys. Are you well?
Very well, thanks. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. It's like the warmest day here in Derbyshire, and my tea isn't really tea. It's water. I have to admit, it's just too hot here. How was life in Glasgow? What's the weather like?
It's pretty warm too. You've got the right idea. My tea is way too hot, and I've put on a jumper.
I know, I'm wearing corduroy, just massive mistake. Life mistakes.
Coffee's still on the go here.
Oh, good. Yeah, well, coffee's good to cools the blood, apparently, or is that tea? Who knows? I'm going to stop chatting and actually talk to you about some music. So here, we've got the fabulous James Lindsay and Megan Henderson and Ewan Robertson. But we're missing Callum and Coral today, so, just part of Breabach, but it's lovely to be joined by you guys. How are you finding Global Music Match so far?
Yeah, it's a really fun experience. It's like, I feel we're getting on great as a team, and it's just a great pleasure to meet all you guys and hear everyone's beautiful music.
Too right. We definitely have the best team for sure.
Oh, yeah. I find that each week, like even if we've kind of known some of the artists, kind of vaguely, it's just dead nice having the kind of each focus week, and it's like at the start of the week, all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm going to have a listen to more of this music, and then the more you listen to it, it kind of, it's like the kind of back catalogue. You start going through all the different artists' music. It's lovely. You're getting to know them as people, but you're getting to know their music, and it's kind of, the character kind of comes out, and I'm finding it really interesting. It's lovely. You almost don't want the week to end, because you're enjoying this music and you don't want to forget it. So it's like, okay, I'll come back to that one. And
when it comes to us guys, of course, we have played many a festival bill together, but have only met, a couple of us have only met fleetingly ever before, and it's been such a pleasure to get to know you guys better. It's just really, really cool to have that British connection within our group. So if people have heard of you but perhaps haven't heard your music before, I'll do a brief introduction, and then you just shout if I'm missing anything. So Breabach, you're deeply inspired by Highland and Island traditions. You work with traditional music and song and tunes and Gaelic songs, and there's step dancing, but you're also, I'll say this from the perspective of listening to your music, just incredible writers of new and original material, and innovators, using the tradition as a springboard and going off to create something new and exciting and relevant for today. Does that sound like you? Are you happy with that intro?
That's like the best intro we've ever had.
I'll go and
Can you write our press releases from now on?
So you've been going for 15 years. You're a multi-award winning artist. You have your own whiskey. I mean, there's a lot going on for you guys. I'd love to just sort of hear a little bit about your own perspectives of being rooted in tradition, but why it's important to take that forward, and your perspective as writers of new original stuff.
It's been a long journey, and travel has played a massive part in our journey musically, and our experiences of different cultures and different genres and just different music across the world has really inspired us to push beyond where our tradition is. But at the heart of what we do, we've always been really, the most important thing has been the traditional Highlands and Islands sound of the band. That's been the kind of real heartbeat of the band.
We were chatting to CGS about this, in that it's like the music is at its core, it's like functional music, and like trying to keep it functional and keep it relevant. So it's not like we're trying to like, it's not like a museum piece. It's like the music, we're trying to keep the music relevant, you know?
It's that old saying, isn't it, of it's important to fan the flames rather than worship the ashes.
Yeah.
That's so interesting that you talk about travel affecting your music, because with Breabach, you guys have had an incredible journey playing at Sydney Opera House and Times Square, and all these massive, beautiful venues. And of course, you've worked with a lot of artists from all over the world as well. Am I right in thinking that you've worked with like Indigenous Australian artists, and like, tell me what that was like? It sounds incredible.
Yeah, well, I suppose the collaboration that you're kind of referring to there, that was about 6 years ago now. It was to do with the Commonwealth Games, and we're really lucky we got to collaborate with Aboriginal, Maori, and is it ourselves? Yes, sorry, the three Indigenous cultures. And so with that, we went out to New Zealand and we put we collaborated in a load of music together, got to know the people, got to know their culture, their music, and it was a really lovely experience, and then they came over here, and we also went to Australia as well, and it was pretty powerful actually, kind of that way that you might live so many thousands of miles apart, but there was actually so much that connected us as well, and a lot of the old stories and stuff. So that was really lovely. And it's I think for all of us it was a big kind of almost a learning curve in our kind of musical journey too. It kind of links up with Global Music Match, because obviously we're not getting to travel to these places now, but it's just nice to actually kind of keep that kind of spark going.
I would say that's collaboration and travel are two of the biggest themes that have run through the history of the band. If anyone's interested in checking out some of our past albums, Aster is I think that's quite an interesting one to check out for people, because it means distance or journey in Scottish Gaelic, Aster, and we collaborated with some of the people that we'd met through that project, through the Boomerang project, and we also collaborated with Olaf Luxengard Mielva, who plays with Nordic Fiddlers Block, and I'm sure people are probably quite familiar with him, and also some of the guys from Levant du Nord, who we've had the great pleasure of working with, the Quebecois super group. So yeah, it's been a massive theme that's run throughout the course of our music.
That's really incredible, and you're dead right. Aster, I think, listening to your back catalogue this week is my favourite album. There's just so many different flavours, but it still feels so cohesive and true to that Breabach sound. You've really created something very, very special there. And on the theme of collaboration, you're moving forward into a whole new collaborative piece post Global Music Match, right?
Yeah, we're collaborating with an animator, Cat Bruce, and we're putting together a short film of brand new music and brand new film as well. So we're going to be bringing that out at the end of the year, hopefully around Christmas time. We've actually worked with Kat before, and she created a music video for a song that Ewan wrote called Birds of Passage. So we have history with her already, and we're just looking forward to getting cracking on the collaborative aspects of this.
Yeah, I bet. Was it one of those situations then where you did the music video and you were like, 3.5 minutes isn't enough, we must work more with this lady?
Exactly.
That's how I ended up writing a folk ballet. I'd beware, guys, you'll be doing like a full TV series soon.
I think another reason we were quite keen to get involved with Cat as well was, like, we'd always been keen to do something, but the whole COVID situation and the lockdown, trying to find new ways of keeping the band active, keeping the band creative, and being able to work remotely. That this project kind of ticked a lot of those boxes, and has managed to give us a bit of a focus through the kind of the lockdown period, as well as having a little bit of space as well. We definitely appreciated a bit of time, just because the last few years have been full on touring and making albums, but this definitely, it just opens a new avenue for us, and it's really exciting.
Oh, I'm really excited to see how it turns out. Seeing as I have 3 of you lovely Breabachis in front of me, I want to do that like 3 words to describe your sound thing, but because there's 3 of you, you get 1 word each.
Okay.
So James, you go first.
Energy.
Lively. That's the same thing, isn't it?
I am going to say innovation.
Ooh.
But actually, really what I wanted to say was noisy.
I will let you have 4 words. Energetic, lively, noisy innovation. Sounds perfect. But actually, it doesn't do justice to all the beautiful, gentle moments that Breabach also has across their back catalogue. So I urge people, if they haven't already been enjoying and loving you guys over the years, to go forth and find you on all of the usual avenues. When I interviewed Suava on week 1, I said to him, what was your best ever gig? And he essentially just told me his most embarrassing gig story ever. And so he just, he organically morphed this question into what is the most hilarious, embarrassing gig moment ever.
Well, I think there's been a few, but actually one for me, the one that kind of sticks out was that it was one of my first gigs with Breabach. In fact, I was talking with you the other week about it, Lucy, Shrewsbury, back in 2011, and we went on stage, and like I say, it was one of my first big performances with the band. And then I put down my fiddle and I was going out the front to do a bit of my step dancing, and I started step dancing and I realised that my tights were falling down. And you know that, well, mainly women will know this, but when you're wearing tights sometimes and you kind of feel like that middle bit's like at your knees. I was just like, what do I do? I was kind of like trying to sort of pull them up every now and then. It was just like, this isn't working. So I like waddled back to my station with and I did the rest of the gig with my tights pretty much at my knees.
Oh no. There's nothing worse than a tight malfunction on stage. I know it well, because there's just no polite way to adjust.
No.
When it's happened, it's done.
So that's mine.
Mm-hmm. Any
I'm not
tight
sure.
malfunction, boys?
Normally, there's something embarrassing happens to me on every gig, but I can't quite remember one specifically. But one of the craziest gigs we did was on the Isle of Egg. I don't know if you've ever been there.
No.
It's just a small island and community-owned island, and every year they have a festival to celebrate the buyout of the island. And we played there, must be 8 years ago now or something. And it was just a tiny little village hall, full on chaos. Just people hanging from the rafters and speakers getting knocked over, and just it sticks out in my mind because it's so surreal.
It's brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant.
There was literally a guy hanging from his feet from the rafters, and people were handing him cans of Tennants that he was shaking and opening upside down, spraying them around the room, and they brought out some ratchet straps and put them around the PA, trying to hold the PA on the ground because the speakers were falling over, and it was chaos. Chaos.
It sounds like, did you feel like rock stars in amongst it all? It sounds like a really like hardcore folk gig, you know?
Kind of was.
Yeah.
You're like, egg! I don't know what. No, anyway.
Health and safety was out the window.
Yeah.
It's well, yeah, that person hanging off the rafters committed to having a great night.
I can't think of any specific stories like relating to us, anything embarrassing particularly, but I do remember we were doing a live broadcast in Montreal with Le Vent du Nord. Do you remember this, Bonnie?
Yep.
And Le Vent du Nord were on, and Simone, who plays the guitar and the bouzouki, came running off in a panic because he'd snapped a string, and he handed me his guitar. So I quickly changed the string, and the boys, the pipers, had a tuner. We were all just sitting in the dressing room, and they had this little tuner that they use to make sure their pipes are bang in tune before they go on stage. And so I grabbed it, and I started playing the guitar, and I thought, my goodness, this guitar is, the whole thing is so flat. I can't believe this. It's so I started tuning the guitar, and I got it to pitch, and then I took it back to the stage, and as I handed it over, Callum appeared just in white as a sheet, sweating, and informed me that they'd actually been messing around with the tuner, and they'd calibrated it much higher than 440. I think it was up at 448. So the guitar was like, I mean, it was just so bad, and I just handed it back, and they walked on stage to do another song. Oh, terrible. Felt so bad.
Did you not hand it to him and you're just like, I'm so sorry?
That's right, yeah. As I handed it over, sorry. And that same gig, actually, remember, their suitcases were just lying backstage, and Réjean, who's 6'4", no, he's maybe not 6'4", he's a big lad, but we emptied their suitcases and we put their swimming trunks on, and we went out for the encore in their swimming trunks.
And I'm only 5'4", so you can imagine the difference in short size.
They were like trousers for you.
Yeah.
That sounds like an amazing relationship that you've got with them. If they're still friends with you after the guitar debacle and all that good stuff. Oh, that's awesome, guys. Oh, so you know, there's normally 5 of you. There's 5 of you on stage. Do you guys travel together? Have you got any tour rituals, any things that over the 15 years you find you just end up doing to, you know, just bring up the vibrations, get the good luck going? I don't know if you're superstitious, all that kind of stuff. Have you got any things that you guys do?
A big one is going to T-Bay.
The best services.
It's the start and the end to every tour we do, so.
It's almost really sad if you go on the road and then you realise that you're not going that way, and it's like, no.
The other one, of course, is if you have to take, is it the A66? Is it the one across? If you miss T-Bay and we have to go across towards Newcastle, there's Mainsgill Farm Shop as well. It's quite good.
They've got camels,
Mm-hmm.
so you get like a Scotch egg and go and hang out with the camels.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've just got a few more questions for you, and I thought we kind of do these a bit more quick fire. So don't think Doesn't necessarily need an explanation unless you say something like completely shocking. If you could collaborate with any other artist or band, who would it be?
Peter Gabriel.
David Byrne.
Stevie Wonder.
Yes! I didn't know this was going to be a competition, but you win, Ewan. If you could play any other instrument, what would it be?
The oud.
Double bass.
I would just try and learn the guitar a bit better.
That's not allowed. That's not allowed because you play the guitar beautifully.
You play the piano.
Piano. I'd like to play the piano.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Hindsight.
Oh, why?
You've done that before.
I would fly.
Okay.
If you could eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Empire biscuits.
A Malig prawn roll.
Chickpea curry.
Staycation or vacation?
Staycation. Explore your own doorstep, folks.
Yeah, I'm just really bored of my doorstep right now.
Thank you ever so much for joining me for a chat today. People can find links to all of your social media in my bio, or of course just search Breabach and head to your website and you'll get directed to everything you could possibly want there. And plus there's some fun live gig videos and all that kind of stuff on your website, so people should check that out. Thank you so much for talking to me. It's an absolute pleasure and I'll see you soon.
Thanks, Lucy.
Thank you.
Thank you.